Welcome to St. Petersburg, Florida at Tropicana Field. It's game 3 of a 3-game series between the Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo along with Jerry Remy. Welcome to Red Sox baseball. Well, the Red Sox starters so far have been very inconsistent. A lot of talk about who is the ace. Well, tonight they need Clay Buchholz to be the ace.
Well, they do. You know, last time out he gave up 11 hits but only 2 runs, so that's not bad. But he likes pitching here in the Dome. He's had great success down here against Tampa Bay inside the Dome. And we look at the numbers, no runs allowed over the last 21 innings for Clay down here in Tampa Bay. And we skip to the bottom of the 1.95 career ERA. That's the best ever among pitchers with 10-plus starts at Tropicana Field. And the Red Sox need him to come up big tonight. It's a chance to win another series for Boston. And the fact, if you're going to be the top of rotation guy, you stop losing streaks. It's only a 1-game losing streak, but you try to win this ball game tonight, take another series. Let's see if Buchholz has another great game under the Dome.
Yeah, Red Sox have not yet lost a series so far this season. They hope not to here tonight. Well, last night, the bats were big for the Red Sox early. Home runs for Pedroia and Ortiz. Turned out it wasn't enough. They look to bounce back tonight. We'll be back with more from the Trop right after this. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 now playing. Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. Toyota's website for deals by Toyota.com. Digital Federal Credit Union, see what DCU can save you. Your local Subaru dealers. The Kia Sorento. And by Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at Southwest.com. The fans make their way into Tropicana Field for Game 3 of the 3-game series between the Red Sox and the Rays. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo. Well, last year, the Red Sox made a ton of trades around the trade deadline, and one of them saw John Lackey go to the St. Louis Cardinals. The Red Sox, of course, getting Joe Kelly and Alan Craig. Alan Craig was really never healthy last year and had a tough rest of the season with the Red Sox. This year, he's healthy, and the big problem is finding at-bats for him right now. With more, we send it down to the field and Sarah Davis.
Yeah, Don, Alan Craig starting in left field today. But earlier, John Farrell was asked if he considered playing Brock Holt after all the clutch plays we've seen Holt make these last few games. And Farrell said he actually considers sending Holt out there for 7 different positions every day. But tonight, it's really about getting Craig the opportunity.
I think it's important that we get Alan Craig going with more regular at-bats, and maybe with Vic's situation that starts to happen. That's been a priority, and yet there's been limited opportunities to do something.
So Victorino is currently on a schedule of 3 days on, 1 day off, and he's day-to-day with that hamstring right now. As for Craig, he makes his 3rd start of the season, first one in left field tonight.
All right, Sarah, thanks very much. Well, the Red Sox and Rays. The Red Sox trying to keep this streak alive of winning every series so far this year. The first pitch is coming your way next. way in, and Red Sox trying to grab this third game of the series as the Red Sox, after the ball game tonight, will head to Baltimore as they charter their way up there to begin a 3-game weekend series against the Orioles, as the Red Sox just saw the Orioles at home and will now see them at Camden Yards, while the Rays will get some of their guys back tomorrow, and they're certainly happy about that. Sounds like James Loney is going to be activated tomorrow by the Rays. They have 11 different players currently on the disabled list, so they're pretty banged up and trying to get through this first month plus above water. And unfortunately for the Red Sox, their bats came alive in last night's game, and they were able to come back from a 5-1 deficit to go on to win on a tough night for John Farrell. A game, Jerry, you think you have salted away, and all of a sudden you look up and things happen so quickly, it's hard to get the bullpen ready.
Yeah, it's a very disappointing night for the Red Sox last night because they had that lead, and John Farrell said today in his office, we just can't let that stuff happen. You know, when you got a lead like that, you've got to maintain that lead and be able to win that ball game, but at least a chance to win the series here tonight.
And the Rays take the field. As they do, let's check out the Red Sox starting lineup. It's brought to you by your Eastern Hyundai dealers. Leading it off and in center field is Mookie Betts, with Dustin Pedroia at second base, batting second. David Ortiz, the DH, with Pablo Sandoval at third base in the cleanup spot tonight. Mike Napoli at first base, with Daniel Nava getting the start in right field. Alan Craig starting in left field. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop bats eighth. And the first start of the series for Sandy Leon, who does the catching. Tonight's Rays starting pitcher is presented by New England Nissan dealers. Jake Odorizzi gets his fourth start of the year. He is 2-1 with a nifty 1.74 earned run average in 20 2/3 innings. He's got 19 strikeouts, and opponents hitting at just 129 against Odorizzi. Career against Boston in 5 starts, 1-2 with a 4.32 earned run average, and the Red Sox hitting at 245 against Odorizzi.
Tonight's Rays defense is brought to you by DraftKings. They're the best in the American League so far, 4 errors in 15 games. Evan Longoria will be at third base as Drupal Cabrera, the shortstop. Logan Forsythe at second, and Alan Dykstra, the first baseman. Left to right, Desmond Jennings, Kevin Kiermaier, and Steven Souza Jr. And RENE Rivera doing the catching for Odorizzi.
Umpiring crew tonight: James Hoy behind the plate calling the balls and strikes, with John Tumpane at first base. John Hirschbeck is at second base, and Bill Welke, the umpire, at third. Well, Jake Odorizzi ready for his fourth start of the year. And Mookie Betts ready to lead it off here for the Red Sox in the top of the first inning. Mookie toting a 203 average, 2 homers and 9 runs batted in. That's now 2 for 8 in the series after going 1 for 4 in last night's ball game. He has reached base safely in 10 of his last 11 games. First pitch of the ball game from Odorizzi, and that's in there for strike one. Up the middle and to the backhand on a high hop is Forsythe. Throw will get there in time to get Betts. Odorizzi with his pitch arsenal for the year this year so far, 62% fastballs. It's all the strikeouts he's got, mainly on the fastball. Breaking ball at 6%, and the changeup 32% of the time.
Yeah, he's got a very good changeup, something to look forward to tonight for the Red Sox. And he's kind of a fly ball type pitcher, gets a lot of fly ball outs, even though that first out was on the ground by Mookie Betts.
1 down for Pedroia. Now Dustin with a home run here in last night's game. He is 4th of the season. Along with a 271 average, 9 runs batted in. Pedroia 2 for 9 in the series. We're talking about 7 home runs all of last year for Pedroia. I think he was 4th of the year last night in his 14th game of the year. 2014, didn't hit his 4th home run of the season until his 71st game, which was June 19th at Oakland. That's in there for the strike. 3-1. Outfield straightaway here on Pedroia. And Dustin skies one foul up by the catwalks and foul to the right. Membership has its privileges. Learn how you can join the most exclusive sports membership in Boston as a Red Sox season ticket holder. Call 617-226-6888. Email new season tickets at redsox.com or visit redsox.com/season tickets today for more information. Payoff pitch. And Pedroia strikes out. Fastball. As he strikes out, that is out number 2 of this first inning.
This almost looked like a cut fastball here by Odorizzi. A little spin to it as it's up around the letter high to Dustin Pedroia. Strikeout high in the season is 9 for Odorizzi. He did that last time out against the Yankees.
1-2 down here in the first inning, and it brings up Big Papi. David hitting at 208. 3 homers and 5 runs batted in. Ortiz takes strike 1. Every time David gets a home run or an RBI, it moves him up the list. And by someone very special, it seems, at this time of his career. He's past Joe DiMaggio on the RBI list with 1,537 RBIs, 46th on MLB's all-time RBI list now. Last night his 469th career home run. There's a ground ball into the shift right side. Forsythe in short right. Throws out Big Papi. Odorizzi has a 1-2-3 first. The Rays are coming up from the Trop in St. Pete. Hello to you as we head to the bottom of the first inning. Red Sox fans here in St. Petersburg as we take a look at the starting lineup for the Rays, brought to you by New England Chevy dealers. David DeJesus, the DH, with Steven Souza Jr. in right, and Asdrubal Cabrera at short. Evan Longoria at third. Desmond Jennings in left with Alan Dykstra at first. Logan Forsythe at second. Kevin Kiermaier in center, and Rene Rivera doing the catching. And Clay Buchholz dealing here with David DeJesus, the former Kansas City Royal and DH for the Rays. With Sandoval in on the artificial surface at third. This one carved foul down the left field line, out of play. 370 to start to the year for DeJesus. 9th in average right now, 5th in on base percentage in the American League. Only his 8th start of the year. And he fouls it back to the screen for strike 2. DeJesus still does not have an at-bat this year against a left-handed pitcher. It's been all righties for DeJesus.
And he's had good success against Buchholz, 400 in his career against Clay. Buchholz wants to cut fastball in.
Inside out swing, fouling it off.
Shook off about 4 or 5 pitches, decided on the cutter inside, and actually jammed DeJesus, but he's able to foul it off. Now the changeup.
And that'll miss. 2-2. We highlighted the numbers for Buchholz against the Rays here at Tropicana Field, especially very good here at the Trop, a place that he's enjoyed over the years. In there for strike 3. DeJesus knew it. Takes with him the first strikeout for Buchholz of the night. Tonight's Red Sox starting pitcher presented by your local New England Audi dealers. Experience the all-new Audi A3 today. With the start of the year for Buchholz. 1-2 with a 6.06 ERA. 19 strikeouts, 4 walks. And opponents hitting at .319 against Buchholz. And 18 career starts against the Rays. 8-6. Good ERA of 2.45. And the Rays in the 18 starts only hitting at .204 against Clay. As the first out here at the bottom of the first inning, and here is Steven Souza Jr.
Last time out for Buchholz, 6 innings in that game, gave up 11 hits, but only 2 runs to the Orioles. In a game the Red Sox lost 4-1.
So far this year for Buchholz, 68% of the time throwing fastballs. 19% breaking balls and 13% changeups. And that changeup something he's worked on this year. Last year a lot of those changeups were up, trying to get it down in the zone this season.
There's a curveball there that's got to be called a strike. That's a good one. He got DeJesus on a curveball to strike him out.
Souza swinging 3-0, diving at third as Sandoval picks himself up, and the throw is in time. Pablo Sandoval, the great play down at third base, and a good throw to Nav Souza.
I'll tell you one thing, you better be ready on 3-0 counts, because Kevin Cash is letting these guys swing 3-0, and Sandoval, terrific play on the one hop. All he really had time to was go into that dive, a crossover step in the dive, and quickly to his feet to get the out. And Buchholz loves the good defense.
Tremendous play by Sandoval. He got a lot on that throw too. There's 2 down here in the first inning. There is Asdrubal Cabrera, former Cleveland Indian, hitting at .211. No homers and 5 runs batted in. Second straight start for Cabrera after not starting in the first game of the series. And the bunt bid fouled back to the screen. A couple of hits in last night's ball game, going 2 for 4 in the game.
Well, surprising to see the bunt attempt there with 2 outs already in the inning. Cabrera, who had a couple of hits last night, maybe getting on his way.
Broke out of a 2 for 32 streak with a couple of hits. Drives this out to left center field. Mookie Betts will get there on the running catch. Shy of the track in left center. 1-2-3 first for Buchholz. No score after 1. Open house this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Take a look in the Red Sox clubhouse. Enjoy a baseball showcase game between Florida A&M University and North Carolina Central starting at 2 p.m. and get autographs from Red Sox alumni and pictures with the trophies, all for free. Visit redsox.com/open house for more information. Pablo Sandoval leading it off here in the second inning, and a hot shot by the dive of Dykstra at first base down the right field line. Sandoval's headed for two as Souza digs it out, and Sandoval's got himself a double to open up the second inning.
Now Sandoval, you know, he's a very aggressive swinger, so he sees a lot of off-speed pitches. This time he sees a changeup, but he's able to stay back on it. The changeup stays inside, and he rifles it right back by Dykstra at first base. So a good start to this ball game for Sandoval. Fine defensive play, and now the leadoff double here in the second. There goes the Panda.
So into scoring position to begin things here in the second inning as Mike Napoli now stands in. And then Ramirez out of the lineup at least to begin the ball game tonight. John Farrell giving him some time off the artificial surface here for game 3 of the series. So Napoli is shifting up to the 5 spot in the Red Sox order. 170 so far in the year for Napoli. Still in search of that first home run of the year for Napoli after 6 during spring training. Odorizzi had a 1-2-3 first on 11 pitches. Only available off the bench tonight if need be. Shane Victorino listed as day-to-day with a hamstring problem. And talking to John Farrell before the game, he said that it was better than they first thought, and was feeling better today for Shane. So it won't be as long as perhaps they first thought last night when he came out of the game, or even after the game last night. So good news on Victorino, it appears. Still listed as day-to-day. Napoli fooled on the pitch, and it's even now at 2-2.
That's the changeup right there. That might be the best one he's featured so far in the game today. It had the action of a split-finger fastball, dipping down and out of the strike zone. But you'll see plenty of those tonight from Odorizzi.
Odorizzi taking the loss against the Yankees his last time out, first loss of the year. It's part of a sweeping by the Yankees here at Tropicana Field. Most of his starts this year have come against American League East opponents. And again, the number is very good for him so far. 2-1 with a 1.74 ERA. Napoli grounds one left side as Dribble Cabrera takes a look at third, but goes to first for the out as Sandoval takes third base with one down. Ace Ticket, the official Red Sox ticket partner, has the best seats at the lowest prices to all the games at Fenway, all the 200% guarantee. Right now, Ace Ticket has special savings on all Red Sox games, including the Yankees. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS.
That's a very good read by Sandoval at second base, going to third base. The ball doesn't always have to be on the right side of the infield. A ball at shortstop, if you judge it's not hit that hard and it's going to be no play on you, you can go also. And he did that time and gets to third with less than 2 outs.
So one down, Sandoval at third, and here's Daniel Nava getting a start in right field tonight.
As Sandoval getting his secondary lead, he reads the ground ball. He knows it's going to be to his left. Cabrera has no play on him, so he can get to third base. That's a big base running play.
Nava fouls it straight back. not play in last night's game. 2 for 3 in game 1 of the series. This marks his 7th start of the year and his 5th in right field. The other 2, 1 in left field and 1 at first base. Swing and a miss.
Giving the fastball away from Nava. Run the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's his seam fastball that time from Odorizzi.
Infield in all the way around here with Sandoval at third base and 1 down. Nava fouls off another.
Early in the game to have the infield in, but there is 1 out, so less of a chance of a big inning for the Red Sox. And even though Tampa Bay scored a lot of runs last night, they've been having trouble scoring. And Buckholz has pitched well here, so that's the reason you see the infield in so early.
Nava lifts it in the air to center field. Kevin Kiermaier coming in, getting himself ready for the throw as he makes the catch. Here comes Pablo. Here comes the throw. And the throw hits Sandoval. He'll score. And the Red Sox take a 1-0 lead. So a sac fly for Nava. The throw ends up hitting the runner, and Sandoval gets in.
That's being aggressive also because Kiermaier has a very strong arm in center field. Plus he's coming in on this. But the strong arm does not mean it's an accurate arm, and this ball way off target as it hits Pablo Sandoval. Red Sox pick up the 1-0 lead. So Sandoval makes a good base running play, and being aggressive on that fly ball at center field gets the Red Sox a run.
2 down for Alan Craig getting the start as he takes strike 1 over the inside edge. Swing and a miss. Trying to find him at bats. Tough to come by for John Farrell so far here in the early going. I wondered at the end of spring training how many he would get based on the amount he got during spring training, which was a lot. He did a lot, and regular season starts not so much. 2 for 17 out of the gate. His first RBI on Monday. And a win over the Baltimore Orioles at home. Driving in Dustin Pedroia with a 2-out single in the bottom of the 6th inning of that game. Popped up, foul ground. Dykstra, the first baseman, headed over and makes the catch that ends the inning. The Red Sox grab the game's first run. They take a 1-0 lead.
over the Rays, and tonight's Red Sox starter, Clay Buchholz, actually goes way back with Rays manager Kevin Cash. They played together in the minors, and Cash, who played in parts of the 07, 08, and 2010 seasons with the Red Sox, actually caught Buchholz. Buchholz said he's not surprised that Cash became a manager at so young, at 37 years old, because he says the former catcher, he has a real baseball mind and was always very capable of reading game situations. Would you guys agree from watching him in the past?
I guess. You know, I haven't seen a lot of Kevin Cash as a manager. We know him, Don, as a baseball person because he was around here. And he was one of those guys that was always talking the game. And, of course, he was one of those guys that Terry Francona took with him to Cleveland. And he learned a lot in the Francona. And here he is, you know, now with the opportunity to manage Tampa Bay. So at a very young age, as Sarah mentioned.
Did some scouting also in between his time off the field.
Yeah.
To get a little bit of a feel of what that is like. Kind of well-rounded as was John Farrell when he took the Red Sox job, but certainly a guy, we know this, he could catch knuckleballs. He caught Tim Wakefield.
Yeah.
2-1 pitch here to Evan Longoria, who takes a pitch for a strike over the inside corner. Mookie Betts over towards right center, big gap in left center, and that's where this is headed. Out towards left center field and deep. Back goes Betts, and he's not going to get there. One hop up off the wall, ground rule double. Up over the fence in center. So Betts in right center, that ball going to left center. And landing on the warning track and then up over the fence.
Now Longoria gets a fastball right there from Buchholz, and it takes it a long, long way. You can see Betts is shading him a little bit toward right field, and that's just too far to go as the ball bounces up and out of the field of play for the ground rule double. So Longoria looks like he's starting to heat up a little bit.
He was hitting under 200 when the Red Sox arrived. A couple of hits last night and back at it again tonight. A double in his first at bat tonight. And here's Desmond Jennings. A ground one right side. Pedroia looked at third but goes to first. Jennings with a productive out as he gets Longoria to third with less than 2 outs.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, 6th in the league with 9 errors in 15 games. Pablo Sandoval at third base, Xander Bogaerts the shortstop, Dustin Pedroia at second. Mike Napoli, the first baseman, left to right. Alan Craig, Mookie Betts, and Daniel Nava. And Sandy Leon gets the start behind the plate, catching Buchholz.
A runner at third, 1 out. And Alan Dykstra, the batter, infield in for the Red Sox as well here early in this game. And there's strike one. 107 average for Dykstra. Home run, 4 runs batted in. And hit is Dykstra. So a hit batter here, and he'll head down to first base.
That fastball inside is going to get Dykstra right off the thigh, it looks like. The Red Sox will move back into double play position now with the 1 out in the first and third.
Runners at the corners, 1 down. Logan Forsythe coming up here. One thing we will be keeping an eye on tonight, Jerry, this is the first time Sandy Leon has caught Clay Buchholz. So this relationship will be developing throughout the night. And again, catching the previous starts for Buchholz. As Forsythe takes strike one. .277 average for the Rays second baseman. Displayed some versatility for them. Line to center and a base hit from third base comes Longoria. The game is tied at 1. Rays answering quickly after the Red Sox got a run in the top half of the inning. Tampa Bay ties it up 1-1.
Logan Forsythe gets it inside fastball, hands inside the ball, gets the barrel of the bat on it, and puts it in the center field for the base hit. Forsythe picks up his 7th RBI of the season.
Two on, one away, a run in. Kevin Kiermaier, the batter, center fielder for Tampa Bay. And pitch straightening him up inside. .282, 2 homers, 4 runs batted in. Kiermaier making the start here last night. Back-to-back starts after battling flu-like symptoms for 4 or 5 days. This in his last 9 at bats, seen the average drop from 367 down to 282. It's jammed and pops it up foul off to the left. H.B. Hood knows that nothing is crueler than an innocent child being struck by cancer. We thank Hood for their contributions to the Red Sox Foundation, which gives generously to the Jimmy Fund. We thank Hood for helping us find research and care for families stricken by cancer. Two-one to Kiermaier. Did he go? They check. No, he did not. This is Bill Welke. Hit sharply but foul. Double start of the inning for Evan Longoria. Ground out by Jennings, got him to third. Dykstra was hit by a pitch by Buchholz. RBI single for Logan Forsythe, tied the game 1-1, and now runners at first and second with 1 down. Kiermaier with a full count. Strike 3 call. Kiermaier spins out of the box, takes with him the second strikeout for Buchholz. Needed that. 2 down.
Completely full right there because he gets the changeup on the 3-2 count. He's way out on his front foot, and the ball hits the outside corner. So the 3-2 changeup from Buchholz. That call by Leone because there was no shakeoff from Clay.
First and second, 2 down. RENE Rivera, the batter. Seen him catch, seen him play at first base in this series for Tampa Bay. .122 average so far for Rivera. 14th start now for Tampa Bay. Who's coming as the catcher. His 12th. As the pitch in there for a strike, 1-1. Struggled at the plate, 3 for his last 29. Off the end of the bat, foul. Cued over by the Rays dugout. Dykstra at second, Forsythe at first, 2 down. Just away.
Buchholz trying to pick up that outside corner with the fastball, but just outside.
Swing and a miss. That one's flying. Back-to-back strikeouts for Buchholz. Rays get a run and tie the score at 1. Are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Red Sox have held at least a share of the first place spot in 15 of 17 days since the club's first game day, including each of the last 14 days beginning on the 9th of April. Last year, Boston held at least a share of first place for just one day. Inning number 3, and Xander Bogaerts leading it off for Boston. Sandy Leon and Mookie Betts. Short-lived lead for the Red Sox. They enjoyed a 1-0 lead on the sac fly by Daniel Nava in the second inning that scored Pablo Sandoval. But Rays answer quickly in the bottom of the second on a single to center for Logan Forsythe that scores Evan Longoria. Boston-based daily fantasy company DraftKings.com, the official daily fantasy partner of your Boston Red Sox, is giving out $300 million in cash prizes. Enter promo code NESSON to play for free. 2-1 to Bogaerts. Slaps it foul off to the right out of play. 2-2.
I see so far a trend starting here with Odorizzi. Most fastballs are up at the zone, and then of course that changeup down in the zone. He's basically been a 2-pitch pitcher so far in this game. Fastball up again.
Sandy Leon and then Mookie Betts expected here in the third inning. Payoff pitch to Bogaerts. And this is out towards deep left center field. Back goes Kiermaier. It'll take him to the edge of the track as he makes the catch for the first out of the third inning. Well, the deepest part of the ballpark here in St. Pete out there to left center.
That was almost in the area of where Longoria hit his, but not quite as deep. A little angle out there in center field. It's 404 to straightaway center, and that's quite a bolt out there to that area.
One out here in the third inning for Sandy Leon. And again, starting the first two games of this series against his old team, the Rays, and it's Leon tonight. Last played in the Baltimore series. And was 0 for 3 with a walk, getting a start in that series. 0 for his last 7 at the plate. Chop to first, and a hop that's handled by Dykstra. He'll flip to Odorizzi, who covers. 2 down. Saturday at 5, don't miss the real-life NBA discussion of business and baseball featuring Jack Welch and John Henry. Learn how to build a team and win the game in business and baseball Saturday at 5. 2 down here in the 3rd inning. Mookie Betts grounded out to the second baseman Logan Forsythe in the 1st inning. A little bit high, 2-0. Odorizzi, of course, part of that James Shields deal that saw Shields go to Kansas City, part of a 7-player trade. Well, Myers mixed in there as well, coming here to Tampa Bay, and now with the Padres. But Odorizzi left here in Tampa. Still just 25, as he will walk Mookie Betts with 2 outs.
If you're Mookie Betts in this situation, you're looking, I'm sure he has the green light to try to steal second base with Pedroia at the plate and the 2 outs.
Dustin Pedroia struck out swinging in the 1st inning. Only strikeout so far tonight for Odorizzi. They'll check on Betts, and he appeared to be leaning, but he does get back.
Yeah, slight hesitation over at first base from Betts on that first move to first base by Odorizzi, but gets back easily.
Walk by Betts, broke up a string of 5 in a row, retired by Odorizzi. As Pedroia takes strike 1. Betts got the big lead again. And Mookie's off at first. The pitch is high. The throw is a good one, and Betts is safe. Still got in. Not a bad pitch to work with for Rivera. Almost like a pitch out and away. And not able to get Betts, who steals second base.
Yeah, that's just flat out speed there for Mookie Betts, because it wasn't a great jump. He takes it a look back toward the catcher, but he still beats it. The way he goes in head first, he almost goes by the bag every time. He's able to hook the bag with his leg and his foot after the hands go past it.
Kevin Cash came out briefly to see if he was going to challenge it. Looked back in the dugout, got the word no. So Betts in scoring position with 2 down. And Pedroia, it's a ground ball to shortstop as Dribble Cabrera throws him out and ends the inning. Red Sox will lead Betts. It's scoring position. This game remains tied 1-1. Time now for the Geico Red Sox moment. All season long, Geico will highlight the 1975 Red Sox in honor of their 40th anniversary. In their 16th game of the 75 season, the Sox lost to the Cleveland Indians 8-1. Gaylord Perry gave up 5 hits and a complete game win, and Boog Powell had a 3-run home run. That's on here to the bottom of the 3rd inning. The top of the Rays order: David DeJesus, Steven Souza Jr., and Asdrubal Cabrera. How'd you do against Gaylord Perry, if you remember?
I don't remember. All I remember is a bunch of rosin coming up to home plate.
A fog of...
Yeah, you know, if he thought he was going to get caught throwing a spitball, he started for a while throwing a puffball, he called it, where he would just load the ball up with the rosin bag, and he'd throw it, and rosin would just come out at you, and the baseball. He was unbelievable.
Perfectly legal, because this is a foul ball. Jumping out is Leon to grab it aggressively, but foul.
Nothing he did was legal except get you out. It's unbelievable. He put the ball right in that rosin bag right there, and just take as much rosin as he could, put it in his hand, and throw it, and the ball would come at you, and all you see is a puff of rosin. It was unbelievable. I mean, that was toward the end of his career.
And jumping back out of the way, DeJesus again, 1-2. Center fielder Mookie Betts over towards left center. Good amount of open space in right center. And DeJesus fouling it off himself and hangs tough here at 1-2. DeJesus 35 years old. Long time in Kansas City, 2003 through 2010, and stops in Oakland with the Chicago White Sox, Washington, and now he's in his 3rd year as a member of the Rays. There's a grounder foul outside of first.
Don, talking about Gaylord Perry, this should be checked, but I think, if my memory serves me correctly, the only time he ever got thrown out of a game was against the Boston Red Sox for a spitball. I may be wrong.
What did they find? Did they find anything on him, or was it just...
It was in Seattle. I think it was just the way the ball was acting. I don't think they found anything on him.
So no actual substance was found on the ball.
But I think it's the only time he was thrown out of a game. I can't be 100% sure of that.
This one fouled off to the left. So maybe he was never cheating all this time if it was never really proven.
No.
It was pretty solid he was cheating?
The ball did not come in straight.
I see. You had enough evidence, as did others, to feel that he was cheating.
But also a very good pitcher. Not a great guy to play behind, from what I understand. He didn't like guys making errors behind him too much.
Oh. 1-2 pitch. Will bounce in, and it evens at 2-2. Steven Souza Jr. on deck, then Asdrubal Cabrera. Rays batting here in the bottom of the 3rd inning in a 1-1 game. Buchholz upset with himself, missing. Full count. 9th pitch of the at-bat coming up. On the ground, foul. Will do it again. Second year of a 2-year deal here for DeJesus. Club option for next year. Pitch of the at bat coming up here for DeJesus. Nothing else. Driving up the pitch count of Clay Buchholz. And he works a walk. That was the first walk allowed by Clay Buchholz tonight. For a delicious cup of coffee at the office, try W.B. Mason's coffee service featuring the Carrot Coffee System with Green Mountain Coffee. Leadoff walk generally doesn't work out well. We'll see what happens here in this last of the third inning. The Ray tank still here in St. Pete at Tropicana Field.
Looks nasty, doesn't it?
What do you mean, like dirty water? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it looks like a sauna at a health club.
I went out there last year in Don's View. It was one of my better Don's Views, I think. And it was a little cleaner, I think, last year than it was this year.
What happened at Don's View?
I believe it was canceled. Yes, I believe it was canceled. As our friend Jeffrey Lyons, the film critic, said, unwatchable, says Jeffrey Lyons. I don't know if it was the video quality, things I was choosing. Throw to first, and back is DeJesus.
I used to look forward to that every night.
Yeah, I did too. I enjoyed it. But I was notified that it was canceled. I got to tell you, I would not be reaching into that Ray tank.
I wouldn't.
No. Time called as.
I meant the whirlpool at the health club. You know.
Yeah, I know. You're not big on that.
No. That's what that reminds me of.
Well, to me, that's dirtier.
How do you know?
Well, I guess I don't. Just in there for a strike. You started on this last year when I stayed in a room here that had a jacuzzi, remember?
Yeah.
And then I've never been in one since.
No, I wouldn't go
because of you.
I would not go in it. I mean,
that looks clean enough to me. You could swim with them.
Go ahead.
Souza fouls it back, down 0-2. August 23rd, 82 against Seattle. Had never been thrown out of a game, but he was against you. You were right. You were on that.
Yeah, I was there that night. I think Rick Miller was the hitter, as a matter of fact.
He was. High and a snap throw to first by Leon, and just back safely is DeJesus.
Well, the Red Sox have a couple of catches. Hannigan, Leon, they'd like to throw the ball around. We know Vasquez did. Here's Leon trying that pickoff at first base, not quite in time. Got to be careful on your secondary leads with guys that like to throw the ball around.
Speaking of Christian Vasquez, been around the club the last couple of days. Good to see him, and got to really feel for him. This was his year to be the starter, begin the year, and of course having to have the season-ending surgery. But he's been around the team here the last couple of days and in the clubhouse. Working out in Fort Myers, of course, with the Red Sox here in Tampa coming over. 1-2 pitch. Is going to miss outside. Jesus walking to begin the inning. Popped up, foul ground, back and out of play. I want to remind you to follow the Red Sox all season in 2015 with MLB.com At Bat. #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment. In-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, statcasts, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. 50th pitch coming up here for Clay Buchholz. And Souza takes strike 3. He didn't think so. Picked up that outside corner and still talking about it with Boyd. 4th strikeout for Buchholz, 1 down.
That's pretty nasty right there. Fastball down and away, borderline pitch, but it goes in Buchholz's direction. That's a very close pitch, but with 2 strikes, you got to be aggressive.
One out, 1 on as Drupal Cabrera. Rare flied out to Mookie Betts in center field in the first inning, 0 for 1. Drops in there for a strike. Throw to first, and diving back is DeJesus. Seemed surprised initially, but did get back.
Now, one thing you know as a runner at first base, you're going to get a lot of attention from Clay Buchholz. If you are the type of guy that can steal bases, and even in some cases, guys that don't steal bases.
On the ground, foul, sharply hit, 0-2. Win at Philadelphia for Buchholz. 7 shutout innings on opening day. And a loss at New York. Very difficult outing. 10 runs, 9 earned in 3 1/3. And a loss against Baltimore. 6 innings, giving up 2 runs. He battled in that one, but scattered 11 hits in 6 innings. 0-2 pitch. And Cabrera lays off. Leon's going to try it again, and back again is DeJesus.
Well, DeJesus got to be saying, man, if I got some kind of target at my back or something, I got the pitcher trying to get me, I got the catcher trying to get me. Very quick release by Leon on that pickoff attempt at first base. Throwing behind the left-handed hitter. Just drops to his knees and lets it fly. Ooh, that was really close.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Leadoff walk to David DeJesus, a strikeout looking for Souza Jr. Now has Dribble Cabrera with a count of 2-2. And a swing and a miss, elevated, and Cabrera goes chasing. That is 5 strikeouts for Clay Buchholz, back-to-back Ks here in the 3rd.
He's done a good job mixing pitches with his strikeouts. He's got 1 on a curveball, a changeup, a cut fastball, and 2 this inning on fastballs. This was going up and away from Cabrera.
Two down to Jesus at first base. Evan Longoria, the batter. He doubled in the second. And starting to come around at the plate after a very sluggish beginning to the year. He would score the Rays run on an RBI single by Logan Forsythe in the second inning after he doubled. Longoria towards Pedroia. He will throw to first for the out that ends the inning. Buchholz going down to the dirt to get out of the way of that one. 1-1 score through 3.
Hey, that's me.
This is me. I'm going to wear this.
And I'm looking good wearing it.
Yes, I am. David Ortiz leads it off here in the 4th inning. Ortiz, Sandoval, and Napoli in the 4th inning. He's into the shift on the right side with Forsythe in short right field. Popped up foul off to the left, up by the catwalks. I want to remind you to tune in tonight after the game to NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. Ellen Adam will have post-game reaction from Game 3 of the Celtics-Cavs series and have highlights from the Patriots' visit to the White House. See what know-how can do. Ortiz lifts it down the left field line. It'll make its way foul. '50th pitch from Odorizzi, and it'll bounce in. Odorizzi with a strikeout and a walk has given up only 1 hit through the first 3 innings. A double by Sandoval. And Pablo would score on the sac fly by Daniel Nava. Now Ortiz with a swing and a miss, strikes out. Second strikeout for Odorizzi. At Eastern Bank, innovation doesn't just mean making life simpler. It means finding new technology that puts your needs first. See what's new at easternbank.com. Here, you're first. Eastern Bank.
Now everything away from David Ortiz. Fastballs, and this last pitch, the changeup away. Gets the big swing and miss from Ortiz.
1 out here in the 4th inning. Pablo Sandoval takes the very high strike. Swinging away, fouls it back, down 0-2. The game, Sandoval against right-handed pitching, hitting at .350, 10th highest mark in the American League right now. Fouls it off to the left, out of play. He's going up there hacking tonight. A couple of guys beginning the night on the bench. Hanley Ramirez and Ryan Hannigan. On the ground towards first. A nice pick by Dykstra on the half hop. Tags the bag. Sandoval retired. 2 down here in the 4th inning. Well, Saturday on NESN, catch a special day at Fenway Park when college baseball gets to play in the dirt. Enjoy a baseball showcase game between Florida A&M University and North Carolina Central beginning at 2 on Saturday.
Does that mean they're only playing on the dirt?
Just the dirt, apparently. No one's playing in the outfield or.
So just on the dirt at Fenway.
Just the dirt at Fenway.
That's good enough for me.
This one bouncing in, 2-0. Napoli grounded out to the shortstop as Dribble Cabrera in the 2nd inning. Very deep here in the outfield on Napoli. Center fielder Kiermaier and Desmond Jennings in left, and Napoli with a big swing. One thing in mind there.
Yeah, again, Just keep in mind, most of these fastballs that we're seeing from Odorizzi have been up in the zone. Fly ball type pitcher.
There's another one, but too high. Tired 9 of the last 10 batters. Napoli another healthy hack. Another fastball, full count.
And the high fastball is so hard to lay off because you see it so well. It's eye level. And you get a lot of guys swinging at high fastballs, and it's a very tough pitch to hit.
On the ground with a shift on. It says Drupal Cabrera, the shortstop, and that is out number 3. 3.5 in the books from the Trop, tied 1-1. Helps make good things happen. Watch how good things are happening to local people at easternbank.com/goodthingshappen. Clay Buchholz ready to start this bottom of the 4th inning. Desmond Jennings leading it off and fouling the first pitch back for strike 1. Jennings grounded out to Pedroia at second base in the 2nd inning. Jennings, who hit all over this order for Joe Madden in years past, kind of settled into the number 5 spot in the Rays order now. Times leading off in his career. Swing and a miss has him down 0-2. Swing and a miss, and Buchholz strikes out Jennings. 6th strikeout for Clay Buchholz. It's time now for a game break, brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Tom? All right, Tom, thanks very much. Well, Baltimore, who had lost 3 games in a row coming into that game tonight against Toronto. There's a ground ball down the first baseline where Napoli was standing there, and he tags the bag. And Dykstra is out number 2 of the inning.
Second baseman, Logan Forsythe.
Brings up Logan Forsythe. Jerry, would you agree that it appears in the early going the American League East not as strong as it has been in years past?
Well, we were talking about that in spring training, you know, and it appears that way. We'll see how the season plays out, obviously, as we get deeper and deeper and teams start to separate themselves from each other. But I would agree. I don't think it seems to be quite as strong. I think it's up for grabs for a few different teams. I mean, the Orioles, we saw them over the weekend. They still look like a good team to me. We'll see them again this weekend. Toronto should be improved. There's no question about that. The Yankees, I think, it surprises the people right now the way they're playing.
They came in here and swept the Rays. As the pitcher is going to miss. Five in a row retired by Buchholz. 3 of the last 5 down by way of the K. Now Clay falling behind 3-0. Didn't like the baseball he was operating with, so gets a new one. Kevin Kiermaier waiting on deck. There are 2 outs here in the 4th inning. Forsythe yesterday with a bases loaded walk in the 6th inning. Part of that 4-run 6th inning for the Rays. And he'll take another walk here with 2 down in the 4th inning. 2nd walk allowed by Buchholz tonight. Now Monday is Replica Fenway Park night at Fenway. All fans in attendance will receive a free replica model of Fenway Park. Presented by WB Mason. Visit redsox.com/promos for more info and to purchase your tickets now. Raymond in the house.
It's a kinder, gentler Raymond than it used to be in the past.
Yep. Went to anger management training. It seems different, really, over the last year or two. And certainly much nicer to you. There were a few years there where...
Very hostile.
Yeah, very, very hostile.
Very hostile.
My favorite was when Raymond was reading your book and falling asleep. Remember that one? Watching baseball?
Yes. Put him right to sleep.
That?
As it did many people.
That or when Raymond had his ATV and would drive over your bobblehead on the field.
Yes.
Smashing it into pieces. I found it funny. I know you didn't. Off the end of the bat, foul. Strikeout victim in the 2nd. 6 strikeouts tonight for Clay Buchholz. Throw to first, and diving back is Forsythe. Turf at 3rd is Sandoval. 2-1 pitch coming to Kiermaier. Swinging a foul tip evens it at 2-2. Christian Vasquez has been with the team the last couple of days. And for the last game of this series.
Still wears a brace as he walks around on that right elbow.
Leone headed out to talk to Buchholz.
You can see signs of that brace underneath the jacket of Christian Vasquez. Takes about, what, good 12 months?
Yep. Fouled off behind the Red Sox dugout. Buchholz thought he had strike 3, but it's called a ball.
Yeah, like a good pitch there. Two-seam fastball. That came back to the inside corner, but not getting the call.
Swing and a miss, and Buchholz able to strike out Kiermaier to end the inning. 7 strikeouts for Buchholz. Game tied 1-1 through 4. And Rays are tied up 1-1. Daniel Nava, Alan Craig, and Xander Bogaerts to bat here in the 5th inning. Jake Odorizzi working here into the 5th. And a first pitch strike to Daniel Nava. It's his sacrifice fly in the 2nd inning that gave the Red Sox at the time a 1-0 advantage. Nava picking up his 6th RBI of the year. Down 0-2. Career .292 average against right-handed pitching. Odorizzi has struck out 2, walked a batter, and only given up 1 hit through the first 4 innings. And a swing and a miss, able to strike out Nava. There's the third K for Odorizzi. One down here in the 5th inning. Let's take a closer look at tomorrow's starting pitchers. Rick Porcello this season, 3 starts, 1 and 2 with a 6.63 earned run average. Had some trouble with home runs. 5 home runs given up in 19 innings pitched. And Miguel Gonzalez, 3 starts, 2 and 1 with a 2.55 ERA. Closer look brought to you by FW Web. For an even closer look, visit FWWeb.com. 1 out in the 5th inning, 5 in a row, retired by Odorizzi. And Alan Craig lifts a fly ball to shallow center. Kevin Kiermaier puts it away, 2 down.
Shortstop, XANDER BOGAERTS.
Two down for Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts flying out to center back in the 3rd inning. Now ground ball with a right side open, and he puts it right through into right field. They're in a shift on the left side, so Bogaerts takes it to where the second baseman normally would be and into right.
And he made that look easy, too. He just gets a fastball, just guides it right over to second base where there's nobody. He picks up the base hit. Stops an 0 for 14 for Bogaerts.
I didn't see anybody on that right side when I looked up. He got right in there.
There's nobody there.
So 2 down, Bogaerts at first. And Sandy Leon, the batter. And foul it back to the screen for strike 1. And the shift on the right side here for Leon. Leon grounding out down the first base line to Alan Dykstra in the 3rd inning. Dykstra right now holding on Bogaerts at first base. Down low, and it's now 3-1. Leon for his last 9 at the plate. Batting here with 2 outs and Xander Bogaerts at first base. Down the left field line and headed towards the bullpen foul. Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, the official hospital of the Boston Red Sox, never forgets that before you're a patient, you're a person. Beth Israel Deaconess, human first. Learn more at bidmc.org/human first. 2 outs in the 5th. Xander Bogaerts at first base, and a happy young guy right there. Outside for ball 4, and Leon down to first base. Good at bat there. And it's 1st and 2nd now with 2 down.
Odorizzi really upset with himself, walking the number 9, hitting to get back to the top of the lineup with the man in scoring position.
His pitching coach Jim Hickey headed out to talk to him. Well, Jerry, chance here for the Red Sox to win another series. They've not lost a series yet this year. Of course, they split with the Orioles. It turned out the 4-game series, but it's all about winning series, and they have a chance to do that here tonight.
Yeah, that's what, it's gotten the Red Sox off to a good start. The fact that they have been able to win series, and They'd love to do so here before they play a very tough Baltimore club over the weekend. Splitting with Baltimore in a 4-game series back in Boston. Nothing wrong with that.
I understand it's going to be a little bit on the chilly side tomorrow night. Low at 39 degrees possibly in Baltimore.
Oh, I'm not prepared for that.
2 down, runners at first and second as Mookie Betts the batter. They'll send one to center field. Kiermaier started back, now comes in, and he dives! Makes the catch in center. Kiermaier got a bad break, started back, then comes in and makes a spectacular catch to rob the Red Sox of at least the go-ahead run. 1-1 the score halfway through this one.
He's got outstanding speed and a terrific play. He actually catches that ball in the heel of his glove, and it doesn't bounce out when he hits the turf. Tremendous play after a bad read by Kiermaier, but he's got the kind of speed that can make up for mistakes.
Much appreciated by his starting pitcher, Jake Odorizzi. As a curveball is hit in the air out towards deep right center field. Back goes Mookie Betts, and he'll get there. Shy of the track. RENE Rivera flies out as we check back in with Sarah.
Hey guys, there's a familiar face in Ray's new first base coach, Rocco Baldelli. He's a Cumberland, Rhode Island native and former Red Sox. And he told me he's never coached before, but he's getting a lot of help. And the transition back into a uniform after 4 years in the Rays front office has been a lot of fun with him. Now, for him. So he's only 33 years old, and together with manager Kevin Cash, they make up the youngest manager-coach tandem in the big leagues. But Don and Jerry, as you know, that works with the Rays because they're a young group.
They are, and it's great to see Rocco back on the field again, even if it is in a coaching capacity. And Jerry, and we saw him first as a player with the Rays arriving on the scene. It looked like he had all the tools, was going to have a great career, but health problems over the course of the years really set him back in what could have been an amazing career.
Yeah, and it's great to see him stay in the game. You know, as Sarah said, he worked in the front office for a while for the Rays, now back on the field where I'm sure he's much more comfortable as a first base coach. And it is a shame what happened to him because he had all the tools, as you mentioned. You know, he could hit, he could run, he could throw. I mean, he's a very good outfielder. But then injuries took over, and glad to see him back in the game.
One pitch is going to be a strike over the outside corner. He and I fish at the same pond in Rhode Island, and he was asking whether the Sun Dolphin was out on the water yet, and it's not yet.
Really?
So this next homestand, I think the Sun Dolphin is going to hit the lake for the first time. I know you're wondering about that.
Now, do you get to fish with him, or?
I have seen him there over the years on the other side of the pond. As a ground ball down the first baseline. Napoli will tag the bag for the second out of the inning. His brother still lives back there, and so you see his brother every now and again on the other side. But Sun Dolphin is not yet back in the water yet.
Well, you're only home for a week, and you had to work all the time. You didn't have much time off.
No.
But I expect when you get back there, you'll be dropping that thing back in. And
paddle boat goes back. The vessel will be back on the waters.
When do you dock it in the winter?
Right now it's on the beach, and it's over a tarp. There's a tarp over
the
the
top over it?
Yes, absolutely.
So you don't worry about anybody stealing it?
No. Might be gone. Might be stolen already. I don't even know. I haven't looked since it had 10 feet of snow over the top of it.
That'd be tough for anybody to get to it this winter.
Not liking it at all with Souza. He's had a few with home plate umpire James Hoy. In fact, he struck out looking in the third and had some things to say. Hoy wasn't pleased with him then, and it doesn't seem like the relationship's getting any better.
No, they're not on the same page.
Strike two.
My advice to Souza Jr. would be to stop complaining, because that strike zone is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger.
The Colts retired the last 3 batters in a row. 9 of the last 10. It was 7 strikeouts, 2 walks. He's allowed 2 hits. Both came in the second inning. He also hit a batter tonight. Last 2 not close. This was the last at bat in which he got called out on strike 3 back in the 3rd inning. And it took him a long time to get back to the dugout, checking a couple times with James Hoy. A swing and a foul tip held on to by Leon. 8th strikeout for Buchholz. We are through 5, tied 1-1.
Following off a changeup from Buchholz, then has a few words after he flips his bat with the home plate umpire again, Hoy. So Hoy goes back after him a little bit here and says, look, enough's enough.
And Pedroia drives this out to center field, but Kiermaier is out there to make the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top half of the 6th inning.
There comes a point as a hitter where, you're not always going to be happy, obviously, and you're going to say things to umpires, but you got to kind of back it off a little bit because you're just hurting yourself. The strike zone's going to get bigger and bigger as the night goes on.
One out here in the 6th inning. David Ortiz coming up. So the Rays into the shift here on the right side. David 0 for 2. He's grounded out to second base and struck out swinging. And fouls it straight back for strike one.
Ortiz has not had good success against Odorizzi. He's now 1 for 12 against him, and I think the reason for that is because of all the high fastballs. David, a good low ball hitter.
Fly ball center field. Kiermaier again waiting. 2 down. NESN is looking for youth baseball and softball teams to be a live studio audience for NESN Clubhouse on select Sundays this baseball season. Visit NESNClubhouse.com and click on Studio Audience to enter your son or daughter's team. The experience includes a pizza party before and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be an active part of the studio audience. 2 down here in the 6th inning. 3 putouts in a row out there in center field by Kevin Kiermaier. And it brings up Pablo Sandoval. Sandoval doubled in the 2nd inning and scored the Red Sox lone run. He grounded out to first base in the 4th, so 1 for 2 from the Red Sox third baseman. Reaches out, lifts it to left. Desmond Jennings is there. 3 fly ball outs in a 1-2-3 inning for Odorizzi. Game tied 1-1. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Red Sox and Tampa Bay Rays tied 1-1 into the bottom of the 6th inning. Clay Buchholz, 83 pitches deep into his outing. 3, 4, and 5 for Tampa Bay as Drupal Cabrera takes ball 1. Fly to center and struck out swinging. Good pitchers duel here tonight. Both starters doing well. Buchholz and Odorizzi. And Clay here into the bottom of the 6th. Missing again, 2-0. Clay Buchholz's pitching line brought to you by Ace Tickets. 5+, 2 hits, a run. On an RBI single by Logan Forsythe back in the 2nd inning. 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, 85 pitches deep. Most strikeouts in a game is 9. That was at Philadelphia on opening day. So a strikeout shy of evening his season high. Swing and a miss, and it's 2-2.
And Cabrera having a tough time staying off those fastballs that are outside. Looks like he hurt his elbow a little bit on that swing.
Straightens him up with a fastball up. Full count. Numbers identical. A run on 2 hits, no errors for the Red Sox. A run on 2 hits, no errors for Tampa Bay. Cabrera gets a leadoff walk to begin things here in the 6th inning. Third walk allowed by Clay Buchholz tonight.
Now Buchholz on the 3-2 count, trying to go inside with the cut fastball and just missed the inside corner. Trying to jam Cabrera. Everything had been away in that bat, and on the final pitch tries to go in but just missed.
Second time he's had a leadoff walk. He allowed a leadoff walk to David DeJesus in the 3rd. DeJesus did not advance. See what happens here in the 6th. A quick check on him, and diving back is Cabrera. Swing and a miss. Longoria jumping on that first pitch. Alexia Gondo, Robbie Ross Jr. Soft toss to first, and Cabrera back to the bag. With a double back in the 2nd inning, scored the Rays' lone run, grounded out to second base in the 3rd, 1 for 2. Swing and a miss. Ball and 2 strikes. And again down there to help the double-barreled action in the bullpen. He's not had a great deal of success against Buchholz in the past. 8 for 40 coming into tonight at 200 against Buchholz. It is 1 for 2 tonight with that double that I mentioned back in the 2nd inning. 2-2 pitch from Clay Buchholz. Bloop down the right field line, falling fast and falling foul. No chance for Nava or Napoli or Pedroia for that matter. 3 Red Sox pursuing that foul fly. Well, don't miss Red Sox first pitch presented by Joseph Abboud, available at Men's Warehouse tomorrow at 6 p.m. TC and Jim Rice will take a closer look at Rick Porcello's start. Lead runner on here for the Rays with Cabrera at first. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Evan Longoria. Strike 3 call. Got him on the outside corner. 9th strikeout for Buchholz. Ties his season high.
Yeah, his control has been very, very good on the corners tonight. There's that fastball to the outside part of the plate. 2 pitches inside, 4 away that time to Longoria. I think really had Longoria guessing in that at bat.
Make Insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance. 1 on, 1 out. Desmond Jennings, the batter. Almost threw that one away. Napoli had to come off the bag to retrieve it.
2 completely different styles, but both effective tonight, pitching wise. Buchholz pitching more to the corners, inside, outside, and Odorizzi high in the strike zone to down in the strike zone. Fastballs up, changeups down.
No strikeouts in a game for Buchholz, 12 in his career. Did that last year at Houston. And so far in this game tonight. Pitch count getting up there. This is pitch number 97 for Clay Buchholz. Two and 0. Alan Dykstra waiting on deck. 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Jennings on the ground, a deep short. Bogaerts to second for 1 as Pedroia will try it. Really had no chance with Jennings running, but they do get the lead runner for the 2nd out of the inning as we check back in with Sarah.
Hey, Don. So far this season, the 6th inning has been a tough one for the Sox starters. Just 1 starter has gone past the 6th frame in the last 10 games. So when I asked pitching coach Juan Nieves about the 6th inning struggles today, he said he's just asking his starters to throw with conviction, and he's just trying to keep them focused through each inning. Now, he also told me that he thinks it takes about 5 to 6 pitches to make or break an outing. Would you agree?
Well, I know it takes 1 pitch that can break an outing. That's why you give up a long ball with the bases loaded, and that could ruin an outing. There's no question about that. But I'll tell you, neither guy in this game tonight have been giving up much at all.
Pitch for a strike over the outside corner to Dykstra. Desmond Jennings with good speed at first base gains his lead. The 0-1 to Dykstra. Not close. Oh, he thought about it. On a pitch away. Swing and a miss. Dykstra off balance with that cut, is down 1-2.
Another good change up there by Buchholz, keeping it down and away. Dykstra likes the ball in.
Close pitch, called the ball.
That's a nice pitch by Buchholz because he stayed away, got 2 strikes on the hitter, and you think that he's going to be looking away to protect the outside part of the plate, so you zip him inside. But he just missed the inside corner.
Fouled off by Dykstra. Will do it again, 2-2. For every Red Sox game that goes into extra innings or the Sox get a save, CVS Pharmacy. Make a donation to Boston Children's Hospital towards a $25,000 commitment once again this season. CVS Pharmacy, the official pharmacy of the Boston Red Sox. 2 outs here in the Rays' 6th inning with Desmond Jennings at first base. Now Dykstra battling here with a count of 2-2, and Buchholz up over 100 pitches now in his outing. Swing and a miss, strikes out Dykstra. That's strikeout number 10 for Clay Buchholz. 1-1 to the 7th we go. So here's tonight's T-Mobile game changer play, and it's Clay Buchholz's outing here tonight as Clay ends up with 10 strikeouts. He was pretty impressive here tonight, Jerry.
He was, and you know, when you look at it, Don, I mean, he's throwing just about all of his pitches for strikes tonight. His fastball, his cut fastball right there for a strikeout, the changeup for a strikeout. Had a good curveball in this game tonight, so a good solid outing for Buchholz in this game tonight.
Mike Napoli leads it off and hits a towering fly ball to left field. As when it comes down, Jennings will be there for the first out. High fly ball, but underneath it for out number 1 of the 7th. That is 5 in a row retired by Odorizzi, and all of them have been in the air. So true to test. Said he was a fly ball pitcher. That's exactly what he's got a lot of here tonight. 1 down in the 7th inning for Daniel Nava. Nava with the sacrifice fly back in the 2nd inning, providing the Red Sox their run. and struck out swinging in the 5th inning. The pitching line for Jake Odorizzi, brought to you by your Eastern Lexus dealers. 6 1/3, just 2 hits, the 1 run, a couple walks, 3 Ks. And his pitch count a little better off than Clay Buchholz's. Clay finishing up apparently at 104 in his 6th inning effort. There's Odorizzi into the 7th inning. They're hoping the Red Sox can scratch out a run here in this top of the 7th inning. 0-2, the count to Nava. Fly ball out towards right center field. Kiermaier moving over and back to make the catch for the 2nd out of the 7th. Well, don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live, presented by DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union, tomorrow at 6:30. TC and Jim Rice will have highlights from the college baseball doubleheader from Jim Rice Field. DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? 6 in a row retired by Odorizzi. Alan Craig, the batter. He is fouled out to the first baseman, Alan Dykstra, and flied out to center to Kevin Kiermaier. Line to left, and Craig got himself a base hit. Breaks up a string of 6 in a row retired by Odorizzi.
Well, keeping Odorizzi away from that 1-2-3 inning. It almost looked like a cut fastball that time, or a little slider that Craig puts on a line to left field for the base hit. Outfield playing very deep. The Red Sox with a base runner with 2 outs now.
Here's Xander Bogaerts. His fly to center, single to right field. Brandon Gomes up in the pen for the Rays. Worked in game 1 of the series. The 90th pitch coming up here for Odorizzi. Odorizzi getting 2 outs of Napoli and Nava, both to fly out before the base hit by Alan Craig. In the dirt for ball 3. There's a strike, 3-1 right down the middle, as it turns out.
Just to get me over fastball right there at 89 miles an hour.
Ball 4, and he walks Bogaerts. So all of a sudden, with 2 outs, Red Sox have runners at first and second. Saturday on Dining Playbook, Billy Costa and Jenny Johnson come to you from Legal on the Mystic. Visit TSNY Boston, which offers flying, trapeze, and aerial arts. Head to the north and visit the new Marblehead restaurant, Turtle Cove. Plus, hear from former paraplegic Tom Smith as he shares his powerful story. Catch all that and more Saturday morning at 9 on Dining Playbook. Jake Odorizzi's night is over. Game tied 1-1. Back in St. Petersburg with his call to the bullpen is brought to you by Kia. Brandon Gomes first in out of the pen for Jake Odorizzi. Coming in with 2 on and 2 outs here in the 7th inning. His 3rd appearance. He's not giving up a run in 3 1/3. 3 strikeouts to a walk. Opponents hitting at 091 against him in the early going. Hanley Ramirez pinch hitting here for Sandy Leon in a 1-1 game here in the 7th inning. Alan Craig at second, Xander Bogaerts at first, and Ramirez, did he go? They check. No, he did not, says first base umpire John Tompane. Pinch hitting appearance here for Hanley Ramirez in the 7th inning. Two and 0.
Tried the splitter, tried the slider, fell behind, 2 balls and no strikes.
Gomes pitched in the game on Tuesday, game 1 of the series, retired all 4 batters he faced. Start of the year at AAA, Durham called up when Grant Balfour was designated for assignment the end of last week. Pitched 2 scoreless innings over the weekend against New York. Ramirez will take ball 3.
I'd give Hanley the green light here.
Let's see Agondo now up in the pen by himself. .30 pitch. Ramirez takes strike 1.
That's not the kind of pitch you want to swing at. 3-0. You really narrow your zone down, middle in. That ball nasty on the outside corner.
Ramirez with a big swing and a foul tip. Full count now.
Sitting on a fastball, didn't get it. Got a split-fingered fastball that time at 81 miles an hour.
Everybody on the move here with a full count of 3-2 and 2 outs. Strike 3 call. Ramirez strikes out looking with 2 men on. 7th inning stretch, still tied 1-1. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Bottom of the 7th inning back at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Game tied 1-1. Defensive changes for the Red Sox after Sandy Leon was hit for by Hanley Ramirez. It's Ryan Hannigan now behind the dish and Alexei Agondo into the game. Agondo's 7th appearance in a Red Sox uniform. 4.50 ERA. 6 strikeouts, not walked anybody. And opponent's hitting at 182 against Agondo. Logan Forsythe leading it off and taking ball 1. Forsythe has been on twice. Of course, that was against Clay Buchholz tonight. His RBI single back in the 2nd provided the Rays with their run. And he walked in the 4th inning. Agondo stranded the bases loaded in the 6th inning in relief of Wade Miley on Tuesday night here at Tampa Bay. Picked up his 2nd hold of the season. Swing and a miss for Forsythe. 94 on the fastball from Agondo.
A little increase on the fastball velocity. Buchholz around 90, 91, and 94 now from Agondo.
All 3-3-1. Working to 7, 8, and 9 here in the Rays order in the 7th inning. Forsythe, Kiermaier, then Rivera scheduled. Strike called, full count. Now Clay Buchholz tonight, 6 innings, 2 hits, a run. He walked 3, struck out 10. As Kevin Jepson warms for the Rays in their pen. On the ground to short. Buchholz, or rather Bogaerts, plays it on the backhand and fires to first in time to get Forsythe. For the first out here at the bottom of the 7th inning. I'll remind you to vote for the Amica Pitcher of the Week at NESN.com/Amica. Enter to win a $100 gift card from NESN, the Yawkey Way team store. One down in the 7th inning. Kevin Kiermaier, 0 for 2 in the game tonight, striking out twice against Clay Buchholz. Went looking in the 2nd, then swinging in the 4th inning. Shoots one foul off to the left out of play. And on the grass at third base, Pablo Sandoval, because of the speed of Kiermaier. Seen it on display defensively on a great catch out in center field earlier in the game. Last 3 appearances for Agondo have been scoreless. 3 1/3. Walking nobody and striking out 4. 91 opponent batting average in the last 3 appearances. Ground ball right side, Pedroia. 2 down in the 7th inning. Well, stay tuned tonight following WB Mason's Extra Innings Live for Red Sox Final, presented by Uno's. TC Eka and Tim Wakefield wrap up the night around Major League Baseball. Now 2 down here in the 7th. Rene Rivera, the batter. And a swing and a miss for strike 1. 2 hits tonight so far for the Rays. They came back in the 2nd inning. Double by Longoria, a single by Forsythe in the 2nd. Two and one. Three and one. Ryan Hannigan now in the game for Boston defensively. Sets up outside. And it's too far outside. Close pitch though. Ball 4. Walks the number 9 man with 2 outs here in the 7th inning. So 2 down. Rivera at first base. Back up top for David DeJesus. Struck out, walked, and grounded out to first base. Popped up in the left as Craig coming in. Makes the catch that ends the inning. The Rays leave a runner as we head for the 8th, tied 1-1. HB Office Jet Pro X is the perfect addition to your starting lineup. And now 50% off. Get yours today from none other than Hoob WB Mason. Game tied 1-1 into the 8th. And the top of the Red Sox order to face a new pitcher on for the Rays. Kevin Jepsen into the game. His 8th appearance, 0-1. 1.29 earned run average. 7 strikeouts to a walk. And opponent sitting at 125 against Jepsen. Mookie Betts getting it started for Boston. And swinging at that first pitch, fouling it off into the seats. Brandon Gomes faced only 1 batter and struck out Hanley Ramirez, the pinch hitter, when the Red Sox had 2 on with 2 outs in the 7th. Shinichi Tozawa up in the Red Sox pen. This 1-1 game in the 8th. A few more folks here tonight than were here last night. 13,834. The attendance tonight 13,834. Last night a little over 12,000 at the ballpark. Mookie Betts hits a fly ball out towards deep left center field. Back goes Kiermaier onto the track to make the catch. Let's put a charge into that, but he's out number 1 of the 8th inning.
We talked about it earlier in the game, that being the very big part of the ballpark right there, and that's exactly where Betts hits it. Kiermaier with his great speed has no problem covering the ground there and catches it almost at the wall. Ball hit very well by Betts.
One down here in the 8th inning, and it brings up Dustin Pedroia. And Pedroia takes strike 1. Dustin 0 for 3 tonight. Struck out in the 1st inning, grounded out to short in the 3rd, and then flied out to center field in the 6th inning. Now 2 for 12 in the series. On the ground to short, and Asdrubal Cabrera. 2 down in the 8th. Well, don't miss WB Mason Extra Innings live right after the game. TC Eck and Tim Wakefield will have clubhouse reaction from Clay Buchholz and John Farrell. Whatever, whenever, wherever. Who but WB Mason?
David Ortiz.
2 down, and it brings up David Ortiz. 0 for 3 in the game. He's grounded out to second, struck out, flied out to center. Strike 1. David didn't like it. It appeared to be a little bit low. I think he went. They check he did not, says Bill Welke. 1-1.
Well, not popular with the dugout of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Wow.
Wow. If he'd have made contact with that, it might have been a fly ball in the outfield.
Now down 1-2. Now the catcher Rivera going out. Jepson's allowed only 1 run in 7 appearances, spanning 7 innings. And a scoreless 8th yesterday. Worked around an error committed by Longoria here last night. Now time called. A 1-1 game with 2 outs here in the top half of the 8th inning. And backing off is Jepson. He's going to call his catcher back out again. They've already met.
Looks like when he gave the sign, he just put his glove up like he wanted a high fastball. Jepson, I don't think, liked that and called him back out. Watch the catcher here. Oh, he already put the sign up. Then they call a sign. Then they call a timeout. But the sign had gone up prior to that.
All the while, David Ortiz waiting patiently on a 1-2 pitch. Down and in for ball 2. Pablo Sandoval waiting on deck. 2 outs, base is empty here in the top of the 8th. In the dirt, full count. Ortiz fouls it down the first base line. He's shifting here on the right side on Big Poppy with 2 down in the 8th. Again, Jepson ready. Ortiz in a check swing grounder. Jepson knocks it down. He stays with it, and the throw glances off the glove of Dykstra. So he would have had him if Dykstra had caught the ball, but he does not at first, and Ortiz reaches.
Yeah, Dykstra stretches out and got a glove on it. First, it's going to be bobbled a little bit by the pitcher. Right there, Jepson, and then he throws a submarine-style pitch to first base that Dykstra can't handle. And they give the error to the first baseman on that.
And the trainer was started out here to check on Jepson along with Kevin Cash, but Jepson waves them off. So Ortiz at first base with 2 down. Pablo Sandoval, who doubled back in the 2nd inning. On the ground up the middle, but Asdrubal Cabrera is there. His throw in time, and the top of the 8th is over. We head to the bottom of the 8th, still tied 1-1. Fitness judgment free zone play, and Kevin Kiermaier in this great diving catch, a ball that he started back on initially with great speed, able to make the grab and rob Mookie Betts. Jake Odorizzi certainly appreciated it. 1-1 the score as we head to the last of the 8th inning. New pitcher for the Red Sox, third of the night. Shinichi Tozawa into his 8th game of the year without allowing a run. 7 innings, 9 strikeouts, a walk, and opponents hitting at 130 against Tozawa. Steven Souza Jr. leads it off for the Rays. And slices one foul off to the right out of play. Souza tonight has grounded out to third and struck out twice, once looking, once swinging. All that was against Clay Buchholz, who in tonight's game struck out 10 in 6 innings. On the ground is short. Bogaerts to his left. Gets it there in time for the first down to the bottom of the 8th.
Well, it's been some pitching in this game tonight, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. There's the closer now with the Rays, Brad Boxberger, up in the pen. So the Red Sox won the first game of this series 1-0. One out here in the 8th, and Asdrubal Cabrera fly to center, struck out and walked. Cabrera defensively goes around. Changed his mind in the middle, but does offer.
That gets him to chase that high fastball. Wanted to stop the swing, but way too late.
Bounces in for ball 2, 2-1. Alexi Ogando worked the 7th inning, giving up no hits, no runs. He walked the batter. Did not strike anybody out. Another scoreless outing for Ogando. After 6 innings tonight from Clay Buchholz, giving up just the 1 run. Rays have not had a hit since the 2nd inning, and it's only got to both of their hits have been held to 2. Red Sox only have 3. Cabrera, the swing and a miss. Fastball that was up again.
A good zip on these high fastballs here by Tozawa. Kind of a blind spot right there for Cabrera, up and in.
Cabrera reaches out and kind of hooks it into right field for a base hit with 1 out in the 8th.
Ellie hits a pretty good pitch. It's a split. It may have stayed up a little bit, but Cabrera reaches out and hooks it. See that ball off the outside part of the plate, but still able to hook the ball, pull it for the base hit. That's a pretty nice piece of hitting there by Asdrubal Cabrera.
One out, one on. Evan Longoria, the batter. He doubled back in the 2nd, grounded out in the 3rd, struck out in the 6th inning. A 1-for-3 night. Longoria just 1 for 10 against Tozawa in his career as he takes strike 1, and it's the curveball that starts him off.
That's been a very effective pitch in the early going for Tozawa. Throwing it a lot more than he did a year ago.
1 strike down to Longoria. Zawa requests time and reties that cleat. Tuesday night needed only 6 pitches to throw a scoreless 8th inning. Going inning and getting a strikeout in that inning. Longoria the other way to right. NAVA coming in to make the catch. 2 down. No advance for Asdrubal Cabrera. So 2 down, Cabrera at first, and Desmond Jennings coming up. Jennings has grounded out to second, struck out swinging, and last time up, grounded into a fielder's choice. Tazawa got Souza to ground out to short to begin the inning as Asdrubal Cabrera singled to right. And Evan Longoria lining out to right for the second out of the 8th. Jennings late on the fastball at 94.
Challenge time right there by Tazawa, right down the middle with the fastball. Threw it right by Jennings.
Close pitch, called a ball. No doubt Tazawa wanted it. Napoli holding on. Cabrera at first base, 2 down in the 8th. Jennings lifts it in the air to left field. Out goes Bogaerts. In comes Craig. Bogaerts calling and catching out number 3 of the 8th. We head to the 9th, tied 1-1. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare on southwest.com. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop choosenissan.com. Sullivan Tire and Auto Service. Thank you, New England, for 60 great years. Your New England Ford dealers. DraftKings. And by Audi. Experience the new Audi A3 today. Well, tonight's game summary brought to you by Xfinity. Clay Buchholz, very good. 6 innings. 1 earned run, 2 hits, 10 Ks. Sandoval scoring the only Red Sox run. There's the pitch in there for strike 1 to Mike Napoli. Napoli 0 for 3 in the game, grounding to short twice and flying out to left. Dealing with a closer now for the Rays, Brad Boxberger, in here in a tie game at home. And he deals with a strike over the outside corner that Napoli disagrees with.
I didn't like the inside pitch, didn't like the outside pitch, but it looked like both got the corners.
Boxberger in save situations, 4 for 4. Obviously, this is not. Trying to keep this game tied in the 9th inning. As Napoli reaches out, fouls it back to the screen.
Very deep in the outfield of the Rays, trying to prevent the 2-base hit by Napoli. Kiermaier really deep in center field.
Napoli goes the other way to right field. Souza going back, and he'll have room as he makes the catch for the first out of the 9th. Anthony Vivaro now up in the Red Sox pen.
Right fielder, Daniel Nava.
One down for Daniel Nava, and a sacrifice fly back in the 2nd inning to provide the Red Sox with their run tonight. Since then, a strikeout and a flyout for Nava. At the start in right field, Shane Victorino day to day with a hamstring problem. Nava takes strike 1. RBI for Nava back in the 2nd inning, his 6th RBI of the year. Fouled back, and it's 0-2. Nava fouling another one back. Another fastball.
Now, it reads 91, 92 on the radar gun, but it appears faster than that. Velocity-wise for Boxberger. You get a lot of late swings off him.
Coach has now joined Anthony Vivaro in the pen. Down and in for ball 1.
That time the changeup goes from 92 to 77.
Nava strikes out, badly fooled on that. 2nd time tonight that he has struck out. 2 down in the 9th.
Yeah, back-to-back changeups, and this one way off the outside part of the plate, fooling Daniel Nava. Nava not expecting a breaking ball in that situation. Got it, or excuse me, a changeup in that situation. Swung at a pitch that was way out of the strike zone.
2 down in the 9th as Alan Craig bats. A 1 for 3 night. Fouled out to the first baseman, flied out to center, and last time up single to left field. Craig takes strike one. With one of the 3 Boston hits. Sandoval with a double. Bogaerts with a single. And Craig with a single. Strike 2.
Good pitch, low fastball right there, right down the middle of the plate. I think Craig would like to have that one back.
Craig pops it up. Right side of the infield. Forsythe, the second baseman, puts it away, and the Red Sox are down in order in the top of the ninth, tied 1-1. Here's how we got here in this ball game. Nava with a sac fly to center field. Sandoval able to score. Ball hits him on the throw by Kiermaier. He gets in. And the Red Sox took a 1-0 lead in the top of the second inning. But then in the bottom of the second inning, it's Logan Forsythe with a base hit that scores Evan Longoria, who had doubled to begin that inning. And the game tied 1-1. Two teams have combined for only 6 hits in the game. The first pitch strike over the inside corner to Alan Dykstra from Anthony Bavaro. Comes the 4th Red Sox pitcher of the game. Bavaro into his 7th game of the year. 1.17 earned run average. Opponent's hitting at .222 against Bavaro. On the ground and a base hit into right field for Dykstra. Lead man on here for the Rays in the 9th inning.
Second time tonight Dykes has been on. He walked back in the second inning. Now he gets a changeup away and hooks it for the base hit. Big tall guy, covers a lot of the plate. Finds that hole between Napoli and Pedroia.
Tim Beckham will pinch run. So here is Logan Forsythe with Beckham at first base. Forsythe has been on twice tonight. Showed you the RBI single he had in the second. He's also walked and grounded out to shortstop.
And we'll see if he's bunting in this situation and get that potential winning run to second base.
If he is, he didn't give it away on the throw to first base.
One thing the Rays have not done very much of this year is sacrifice bunt. They're down in the bottom of the league.
Forsythe not squaring, and he takes ball one. Bobby Ross Jr. up in the pen. Forsythe takes the high strike, 1-1. He didn't like it. Steve Geltz now up in the Rays pen. So both pens are busy right now. Forsythe with a fly ball to right field that has Nava in a step, back a step, and puts it away for out number one. So the Rays do nothing in efforts to try to get the runner to second base, just to fly out to right for out number one.
Let's see now if they try something with one out, whether it be a straight out steal or maybe a hit and run with Kiermaier.
For 3 in the game is Kiermaier. He struck out twice, grounded out to second base. Throw to first, and Beckham was leaning in the wrong direction, but he gets back.
Beckham, one steal on the season, has not been caught.
Strike one. Kiermaier now, RENE Rivera waiting on deck for the Rays. Outside, 1-1. First time Kiermaier has ever faced Favaro. Beckham with his lead at first, one down, bottom of the ninth, tied 1-1. Kiermaier slaps it foul off to the left, out of play. Kiermaier fouls it back. We'll do it again, 1-2. Single by Alan Dykstra to begin the inning. Beckham runs for him. Forsythe flying out to right. Now Kiermaier in a battle here up against Favaro. To left center field, and that's going to get in for a base hit. Craig cuts it off, gets it back in. Taking second is Beckham. And it's first and second now with one out in the ninth.
Now good hitting by Kiermaier. He gets the ball that's down in the zone, but he gets right down there with it and puts it on the line. And that's not too bad of a pitch right there, but Kiermaier taking it to the opposite field on a line for a base hit.
Now coming in from everywhere in the infield here to talk to Vivaro. RENE RIVERA coming up, number 9 man in the order. Struck out swinging, flied out to center, and walked. Runners go. Rivera on a check swing, foul ball. Runners were off. They tried the double steal, and it is fouled off.
Red Sox catch a break right there. That ball hit the ground first, then the bat.
Yep, bounced.
Yeah, they catch a huge break right there because I think that would have been a successful double steal.
Throw to second base, and back to the bag there is Beckham. Shooting in was PEDROIA from second base. There in his career against Vivaro, 0 for 2.
PEDROIA straddling that bag like a first baseman.
Time call. Rivera taking a long time holding on to the baseball. Beckham at second base. Kiermaier at first. One out. Potential winning run in scoring position for Tampa Bay here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Vivaro trying to get out of this jam in the ninth. Another pickoff bid at second base, and again back safely is Beckham.
Yeah, PEDROIA is just kind of hanging out around the bag, and he's making a decision. You know, if he thinks he's got a lead that's too big, he's trying to pick off attempt. One thing he's got to be careful about on a pitch, he's going to get back to his spot, not leave a wide open hole over there at second base.
In the dirt and smothered by Hannigan. So a ball and a strike now to Rivera. Red Sox have used Agondo, Tazawa, and now Vivaro out of the pen after these 6 innings from Clay Buchholz. Strike 2. And on that inside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out in the 9th in a 1-1 game. Navarro now backing off again. Bluff to second base, no throw. Again, twisting off the backside, Navarro. Thrown over there twice and bluffed once. The 1-2 pitch. Rivera down the line at third, into left, around from second comes Beckham, and the Rays will walk off with a win. They beat the Red Sox 2-1 and win the series. Toyota play of the game right here. Rivera knew it right out of the box, right down the line.
Got a hanging breaking ball inside and pulled it right down that third base line.
So a happy Rays bunch. The Red Sox have lost their first series of the year. The final score again, Tampa Bay beats Boston 2-1 as we send it to Tom Caron.